Here's how I'm getting better at art so quickly. It's because I'm quitting social media. Kind of. Sort of. Okay, hold on. Hear me out. Hi, it's Snowmew, and I'm just here to talk about time management and figuring out where all my time was going. So, as you know, I've been on this art journey for a while now, and start of the year, New Year's resolutions, all that, I wanted to get really, really good at art and make sure that I built really good habits and practiced art every single day. So in the beginning, it was challenging to build that habit because I had other habits interfering, and 3 months in, we're actually doing a pretty good job. I think that I'm making great progress towards my art goals. One major thing that I noticed when I was starting out and trying to figure out where my time was going and why I wasn't doing that much art to begin with was the use of my phone. Now, I say I'm quitting social media. It's a little more complicated than that. So, what do I mean? One, am I really quitting social media? Sort of, not really. What I'm trying to do is consume less. There's a lot of content out there that is fun and enjoyable, and I like consuming, I like watching, I like participating in, but I really wanted to make sure that the time I was spending in the limited amount of hours that are in a day were going towards improving myself, both in my art and just in life in general. I think over the years, I've grown accustomed to, as many of us have, picking up my phone when there's a lull in the moment and opening TikTok or Twitter or whatever and just scrolling. I think at some point, I've even mentioned in the past, I'll be looking at Twitter on my computer, realize what I'm doing, make a conscious decision of, oh, I need to stop this because it's been 20 minutes and I have stuff I need to do. Close my browser, pick up my phone and open Twitter without even really thinking. It doesn't happen much, but it has happened. So that needed to change for both my mental health and just making sure that I was spending my time in a conscious way. So let's talk about what quitting social media actually looks like for a content creator. So I think social media has a lot of pros. I think the communities that come out of social media, I think the people you meet, I think the relationships that you build and continue building through keeping in that close contact with people are all really great. I think there's a lot of good content out there. I think it's a great way to spread ideas if you're not just mindlessly consuming. But I think there is a time and a place for that to happen. For me, I think that ultimately what I really want is some way to post to social media and YouTube and all that fun stuff without being bombarded with things to consume. I want to interact with the people that I know and like interacting with, but I don't want to be completely overwhelmed by strangers all the time. So what does that look like? Now, since I've quit social media, it has turned into a place where I go to post things and I'll check in on a certain handful of people very briefly and interact with them, but that's it. I've turned off all of my notifications that draw my attention to social media, and I check it on my own time. I make sure that there are certain moments in the day that I am checking social media, and outside of that, I either don't have my phone near me or I'm making sure that I'm focusing on something else that I am consciously deciding to focus on. Over the past couple weeks where I've made this change, I've noticed that I have started breaking that habit of checking social media mindlessly. I've noticed my mood has increased, and I noticed that I don't feel like I'm missing out on as much as I thought I would. I still get all of the relevant news I need when I check every once in a while. Every once in a while meaning like a couple days a week, right? I feel like I'm having more meaningful conversations with my friends. and reaching out to them and having a conversation rather than kind of passively interacting throughout the day. And I've noticed I have a ton more time to dedicate to doing art. So I'm spending that time really focusing on my goals, really being in the moment and drawing and thinking about that next step in my drawing and keeping my goals in mind as I'm finishing that drawing, and then being able to reflect on what I did and think about what I want to improve on my next drawing. I feel like I have more time to just think about drawing. I feel like when I'm doing chores that need to be done, so I can't be doing art, that I'm thinking more about my art instead of thinking about that TikTok I saw 20 minutes ago. For me, it feels a lot better. I feel like I'm making faster progress on my art because I'm so focused on doing the art instead of just kind of doodling and being distracted while I am drawing. I'm making more conscious decisions, and my attention isn't being pulled in a million different directions. Honestly, I feel kind of like I did when I was a tiny kid, maybe in like 3rd grade, and I'd be focusing on something intently, like a drawing or playing on the monkey bars, and that was the only thing I was thinking about, and it didn't feel like my brain was being pulled in 100 different directions. Now, this is coming from someone who has strong ADHD, and I think I'm already sort of predisposed to be distracted. So by limiting the distractions and limiting the amount of content that's being inputted into my brain can kind of take a chill pill and try to focus on what I would like to focus on. Granted, it's not perfect, but it's getting there and it feels better. I think, it makes me happier, which makes me want to do art more because yay, dopamine. And then I spend more time doing art, and then I get better at art, and then I improve faster. So here we are trying to improve our art faster. And I think I'm trying to say is, do you need to quit social media? No. Do you think it might help? If you do, then sure, try it. What's it gonna hurt? Really sit down and consider what is getting in the way of your goals. If it's maybe spending too much time focusing on something else that isn't getting you towards the goals, whether that's video games or working out or hanging out with friends, like whatever, just be realistic and try to dial it back a little bit for a week or dial it back a lot for a couple days and see what happens. I think a lot of the times we fall into a routine that are filled with bad habits, and it's hard for us to take a step back to assess whether or not that routine is helping us get towards our goals or not. And maybe we are getting closer and closer to those goals, but it's a 2 steps forward, 1 step back situation. And it could be more of a 5 steps forward, 1 step back situation with just a couple tweaks. Now that spring is right around the corner, I think this time marks a good moment where it can be a reflection sort of on either your New Year's resolutions or how the year's been going. And you can really assess your goals and figure out if they need to be changed or if your habits need to be changed. For me, I think I made a good decision. I think I like consuming social media less. I think I like being kind of bored and forcing myself into that really uncomfortable, oh no, I'm just going to sit here and stare at a wall and see what happens scenario. It's probably been a really long time since I've done that on purpose. I'm really into time management. I really think that the concept of time management is interesting. It takes a lot of mindfulness to be good at it, and I'm still practicing it. And I think getting better at time management and being aware of where my time is going is drastically improving my art directly, even though it was something that I wasn't sure was going to make a change. So, all right, a little bit of a you've heard this before video, but I just wanted to throw that out there. I think in the end, as long as you're happy and making the progress you want to make, then great. If you need help, like there's plenty of people and community out there that can help. Even just being someone who, is that check-in buddy. Like I've been sending my drawings to my brother on a daily basis. Like, here, I did it. Look, it may not be great, but look, it's here. It exists. And just getting like a thumbs up or whatever acknowledgement from him has been helpful. So I don't know. Just something to think about, to talk about. If it's not your cup of tea, that's totally fine. In the end, we're all here on our art journey, and whenever and however you get to where you want to be is totally fine, and we will all help each other along the way. So until next week, Snow Mew out.